Welcome to the first module of HR Business Partner Mastery course, a modern learning experience for HR professionals who are ready to lead, influence, and drive real business value. In this course, we'll walk you through everything you need to become that kind of partner, the one who leaders turn to when decisions matter and when people strategy becomes business strategy. Let me briefly tell you about myself. I have over 15 years of experience in the field of human resources management. I started working at the company Alpha Insurance. Then I moved to work at insurance company PZ2. After that, I started working in the hotel industry at the Fairmont Grand Hotel Kiev. After that, I transferred and worked at the Fairmont Hotel in Chicago. Then I returned and worked at the Hyatt Regency Kiev. And after that, I changed fields and started working in the IT industry at the company Wentrum. And now I work at the company Trionica. Today, we're diving into a fundamental question. What makes a human resources business partner truly strategic? And why is this role so critical in the modern workplace? Let's start by examining how organizations operate today. Modern companies, whether startups or multinational enterprises, are driven by speed, innovation, data, and constant change. In this environment, people are no longer just resources. They are the engine of business growth, innovation, and competitive advantage. And managing that engine is no longer about just hiring, firing, and compliance. It's about making sure the right people are in the right places doing the right work, and that they're fully enabled to perform. In this context, the role of HR has evolved. The traditional administrative view of HR, focused on payroll, policies, and personnel files, is no longer enough. Businesses now demand more from their people functions. They want insights. They want agility. They want HR professionals who can partner with leaders, challenge assumptions, and co-create strategies that move the business forward. That's where the HR business partner comes in. But being an HRBP isn't just about showing up to leadership meetings or sending out engagement surveys. To be truly strategic, an HRBP needs to do three things consistently. First, align HR strategy with business strategy. This means understanding the company's goals, not just at a high level, but at the level of products, markets, customers, and competition. What are the key priorities for growth this year? What roles are most critical to success? What people-related risks could undermine the company's goals? Strategic HRBPs ask these questions, and then design people strategies to address them. Second, use data to inform decisions. In the old model, HR decisions were often made based on gut feeling or historical precedent. But today's HRBP operates more like a people analyst. They track metrics, identify patterns, and use evidence to guide recommendations. This shift from intuition to insight is one of the biggest changes in how strategic HR is practiced. Third, influence without authority. One of the defining features of the HRBP role is that you often don't have direct control over the people you're trying to impact. You're not the manager of the sales team. You're not in charge of engineering, but you are expected to guide, advise, and sometimes challenge the leaders of those teams. This requires credibility, communication skills, and the ability to frame HR issues in business terms. So why does all this matter? Because businesses can no longer afford HR teams that operate on the sidelines. If talent is a key driver of business success, and it is, then the people who manage and develop that talent need a seat at the strategic table, and the HRBP is the person sitting in that seat. Let's put it simply. A strategic HRBP helps the business make better decisions about its people. They don't just deliver HR programs, they shape the organization's future. Throughout this course, we'll explore the tools, frameworks, and real-world practices that allow HRBPs to be more strategic. But it all starts with this mindset. You are not just in HR. You are in the business of enabling the business through people. To understand where we're going as HR business partners, We first need to understand where we've been. Now we'll walk through the evolution of the HRBP role from version 1.0 to the modern 3.0 approach that forward-looking organizations are now adopting. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. The original idea of the HR business partner came from Dave Ulrich's model, which separated HR into three distinct functions: centers of excellence, HR shared services, and business partners. The goal was clear: bring HR closer to the business. Instead of central teams making decisions in isolation, the HRBP would embed within business units, supporting managers and helping translate HR strategy into operational reality. That was HRBP 1.0. It was a breakthrough in its time, but let's be honest, it had limitations. In many companies, HRBPs became glorified generalists. Their work was often reactive, centered around solving short-term issues like conflict resolution or hiring delays. Strategic conversations were rare, data usage was minimal, and business leaders often didn't see the HRBP as a true partner, more like a service desk. Then came HRBP 2.0. This version saw HRBPs take on more structured responsibilities: workforce planning, succession management, basic reporting. Some became more embedded in strategy conversations, but still, many HRBPs found themselves stuck between administrative work and the aspiration to be strategic. Today, we're entering the era of HRBP 3.0, and it's a different game entirely. This is not about being a better helper, it's about being a proactive business leader. The HRBP 3.0 is data-driven, using dashboards and predictive analytics to advise on workforce trends. Technology-enabled, using digital tools to automate the transactional and focus on the transformational. Agile and iterative, able to experiment, learn, and adapt quickly to business needs. Commercially aware, understanding how talent decisions affect revenue, growth, and competitive positioning. Let's take an example. A 1.0 HRBP might help a sales manager post a job opening. A 2.0 HRBP might discuss the hiring plan for the quarter. But a 3.0 HRBP will bring data showing how ramp-up time for sales reps affects revenue, suggest an onboarding program to reduce time to productivity, and work with the CRO to align sales incentives with strategic goals. This shift isn't optional. As organizations face talent shortages, digital disruption, and economic uncertainty, the need for HR leaders who can connect people strategy to business outcomes has never been greater. So ask yourself, are you operating in 1.0, 2.0, or 3.0 mode? And what would it take to make the leap forward? Now that we've explored the strategic nature of the HR business partner role and its evolution over time, it's time to get specific. What does an effective, future-ready HRBP actually do on a day-to-day basis? What skills do they demonstrate, not just in theory, but in observable behavior? This is what we're here to uncover today. We'll explore the 5 core competencies that define a high-impact HR business partner in the modern world: business acumen, people analytics, change leadership, stakeholder management, and digital fluency. These competencies are not abstract labels. They are practical, developable, and essential to delivering value. And we'll go even deeper by examining the behavioral patterns that show what each of these competencies looks like in real life. Business acumen. Business acumen is the foundation of everything else. It's your ability to understand how the business makes money, how decisions are made, and what levers you can influence as an HRBP to drive results. Strategic HRBPs don't just understand HR metrics, they understand business metrics. They know the company's revenue model, cost structure, and customer strategy. They align HR work with what truly matters to executive leadership. So what does that look like in daily behavior? Behavioral patterns include asking business-first questions like, how will this initiative improve productivity, reduce cost, or accelerate growth. Speaking in financial terms, using metrics like ROI, profit margin, or revenue per employee to justify people-related decisions. Designing HR plans that mirror business goals. For example, building workforce plans based on upcoming product launches. And joining cross-functional strategy sessions, not just HR meetings. Presenting HR proposals in the format of a business case. Clear goals, outcomes, costs, and benefits. In short, a business-savvy HRBP isn't just aware of the company's goals. They act like part of the leadership team that owns them. People analytics. In the past, HR often relied on intuition. Today, that's no longer enough. The modern HRBP must be data fluent, able to read, interpret, and act on workforce data. You don't need to be a data scientist, but you do need to understand what the numbers are saying and how to turn those insights into action. Behavioral patterns include consistently tracking key HR metrics like turnover, time to fill, internal mobility, engagement scores, and looking for trends. Coming to leadership meetings with visuals and insights, not just raw numbers. For example, here's why attrition is rising in one team and what we can do about it. Using tools like Excel, Google Sheets, or BI dashboards to identify patterns and risks. Running small experiments, A/B tests, pilot programs, pulse surveys to test solutions before scaling them. Refuting gut feeling assumptions with evidence-based arguments. When analytics become a natural part of how you think and work, you elevate your credibility as a true partner. Change leadership. Every organization is in motion, whether through digital transformation, restructuring, scaling, or shifting markets. As a result, HRBPs must be excellent change leaders. This doesn't mean sending out emails about reorgs. It means actively guiding teams and individuals through disruption, resistance, and adaptation. Behavioral patterns include spotting early warning signs of change resistance, disengagement, confusion, or friction, and flagging them to leaders. Coaching managers on how to communicate change clearly and empathetically. Creating change roadmaps with specific people strategies, communication plans, training needs, feedback loops. Hosting workshops, town halls, or listening sessions to help teams process change. Helping leadership understand the cultural implications of change, and advising on how to protect or shift key values. Change is emotional. Effective HRBPs blend empathy and structure. They support both the process and the people. Stakeholder management. An HRBP does not work in a vacuum. You interact with managers, executives, and cross-functional peers, each with different expectations and communication styles. Your ability to manage those relationships determines whether your advice is welcomed, ignored, or resented. Behavioral patterns include adapting your communication style to different leaders, speaking in facts with some, narratives with others, following through consistently to build trust. If you promise to deliver a report by Friday, you do it. Actively listening. Asking open-ended questions and reflecting what you've heard before offering solutions. Acting as a trusted sounding board, not just a policy enforcer. Pushing back when necessary, with respect and clarity to help leaders see blind spots or long-term risks. Think of yourself as both a coach and a challenger. Your role is to help the business make better people decisions, and that sometimes means being uncomfortable. Digital fluency. Finally, in 2025 and beyond, a modern HRBP must be comfortable with technology. That doesn't mean coding, but it does mean leveraging tools that streamline, automate, and improve your work. Digital fluency also means knowing which tools to trust and where AI or automation can replace manual tasks. Behavioral patterns include using HRIS platforms, ATS systems, and BI tools fluently in your daily work. Automating reports, onboarding checklists, or feedback forms instead of doing them manually. Using AI writing assistants like ChatGPT to draft communication plans or role descriptions faster and better. Evaluating new tools thoughtfully, asking, will this help people do their best work? Teaching or coaching others on how to adopt technology in HR workflows. Digital tools give you leverage. The more fluent you are, the more time and energy you have for strategic impact. Let's recap. The 5 competencies of a future-ready HR business partner are business acumen, people analytics, change leadership, stakeholder management, and digital fluency. Each of these is demonstrated through specific observable behaviors that you can build, practice, and strengthen over time. And here's the truth. You don't have to master all 5 overnight. Think of them as muscles. You may be strong in some already. Others might need more training. This course will give you practical tools and scenarios to do just that. In the next module, we'll dive deep into business acumen, starting with how to read business goals and translate them into people strategy. But before you go, take a few minutes to reflect. Which of these 5 competencies do you already demonstrate regularly? Which ones do you want to focus on developing next?